listening to the Coffee Hour. I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.
Meet the missionary. We've met this missionary.
We have met this missionary.
Making a move.
Yeah. How many
which
M's can you throw in these sentences? I'm impressed.
I like alliteration.
Alliteration Wednesday?
Does that work? No, that doesn't work.
Wordy Wednesday. There you go.
Wordy Wednesday. Oh, that's a good one. I like that. Thanks to Concordia University, Wisconsin for supporting the Coffee Hour. Find out more about them at cuw.edu.
Live uncommon.
Joining us in studio, the Reverend Dwayne Meisner, former missionary to Belize, now executive director of Belize Mission Society. Pastor Meisner, thanks so much for joining us in studio. Excited to talk about how the Lord has given you to serve.
Yeah, absolutely. It's great to be here.
So you've spent some time, you and your family have spent some time serving in Belize, among others, and getting to meet the people of the community, learning about the needs, learning the culture there. Tell us about your time in Belize as a missionary.
Ooh, well, it's all very exciting. We spent about 3 years in Belize, right at about 3 years, and we went to Belize as kind of the pioneer missionaries for the Lutheran Church Missouri Synod. So a lot of the beginning aspect or the beginning phases of our work was just cultural adaptation and figuring out how to operate in the country of Belize, learning a little bit more about the people and getting accustomed to some of the unique aspects of the culture. And from there, we built a mission, and we've been able to see a lot of exciting things happen over 3 years, including expanding our missionary staff to now include a second or a new pastoral missionary there and a vicar. And it looks like we're also going to be receiving what we call a geo missionary coming up in Belize. We've expanded our mission sites to 4 or 5 different mission sites, and there's just all kinds of exciting things happening here. So, it was a very interesting time. We started off there all on our own, and we've seen some wonderful things happen, and the mission expand and grow. And we're excited to see how God continues to use us in my new role moving forward.
Yeah, that's a great expansion of the mission field. A lot of good things happening.
Yeah, oftentimes I felt like things were just moving along too slowly, but then when I take a step back and realize everything that has happened over the course of a short 3 years, God has been very gracious, and we've been blessed to see some neat things going on.
Yeah, that's a long list.
Yeah.
Who are some of the people that you've been able to meet? You know, a lot of church planting involves building relationships and meeting people.
Right.
Who are the people that you've been able to meet and build those relationships with over the last few years?
Well, we've seen kind of 2 different phases, just by chance or by God's design, over our 3 years there. We started off in one section of the country where we were serving primarily traditionally a fishing village of one of the indigenous groups in Belize called the Garifuna, in a village called Sain Bight, and that's right on the sea. And so that was kind of our first contact because of the work of the Belize Mission Society for years leading up to my arrival. They'd done most of their work there on the sea in this one village. And so as a LCMS missionary, that's where I focused all my attention for about the first year and a half. Then we made, as a synod, the strategic decision to move toward the middle of the country for easier access to more of the country. And it's also the capital city of Belmopan. And from there, it seems God was leading us to reach out primarily to the other indigenous group of Belize, the Mayan Indians. And so we were able to start another pretty successful church plant full of primarily Mayan Indians in the capital city. So those would be the 2 primary people groups that we've been working with to date. And they are actually both minorities in the country of Belize. So it's kind of exciting to see how God's been working through this.
Wow.
So those 2 indigenous groups, and who else makes up the people of Belize?
Right. So the 2 indigenous groups are the Mayans and the Garifuna. About half of the congregation is mestizo, so kind of a combination of Spanish speakers, and then we also have the Creole, spelled with a K in Belize, which is kind of a mixture of African and English, if I understand the history correct. Yeah.
So through your time there, able to see a lot of growth. You said, when you're in the trenches there, you don't really see it until you step back, and then you can see the whole forest instead of just the trees. Tell us about the people that have been partnering with you. We're talking about the Belize Mission Society too, and the work of the society and the people that are involved in that. Tell us more about the Mission Society.
Right. So the Belize Mission Society was founded by a lady named Sue Dorn about 17 years ago, and she came down, and it started off with a single vacation Bible school. That was put on by one of our Lutheran congregations here in the St. Louis area. And it was really, really successful, and a lot of kids got involved, and they were invited back, and they've been doing this VBS ever since then, including the most recent one was just here several weeks ago with a group that was made up primarily of the same church here from the St. Louis area. So that's all really exciting. But for 17 years now, this organization has been expanding to include not just VBS, but also eyeglass clinics and dental clinics and various other medical clinics that they've done. We have now expanded to include a feeding program that gives a healthy meal to some struggling families or with school-age children. Dozens of them are receiving healthy lunches and breakfasts every single day now on school days. We do leadership training. We do sports camps. We do scholarship programs to help kids who are motivated and families who are willing to support a good chance to continue on in their education and hopefully get a good job, and all kinds of other things. So right now we are at a place where we have grown to bring down about 11 or 12 short-term teams from various congregations, mostly Lutheran up here in the United States, down to Belize to support the work of the ongoing Belize mission. So the Belize Mission Society started off kind of all on their own for a number of years, but some years ago we began a formal partnership with the LCMS, so that our work now is specifically supporting the ongoing work of the Belize or of the LCMS missionaries on the ground, of which I was one, and now I just kind of switched roles a little bit, but also working for the same mission.
Sure, yeah. What is the impact of all of that? That's a long list of programming and things that these mission teams are able to help with. What is the impact of all of those things on the ground in Belize for the people there?
Well, it depends on who you talk to. A lot of the work that we do will go towards serving a particular individual or a particular family. Other work that we do will support the overarching mission of or the overarching Lutheran mission in Belize that also gives support to the local missionaries here. Others will be more of a support for the community. So I can give little examples of each one. For supporting the overall the mission of the on the ground missionaries, we have just played a vital role. The Belize Mission Society has played a vital role in developing the very first church property in the country of Belize. So we now have our own church building in the village of Saint Bite that we have helped to fund, and now that we're bringing down teams to help with the construction. For the individual community of Saint Bite, for example, in the past, Belize Mission Society has played a significant role in building a community basketball court for the villagers, and that has actually played a surprisingly positive and wonderful role in giving some of the younger men, especially an outlet for getting out some energy and developing relationships and using their bodies in positive ways and other good things like that. For individuals too, one of the stories that I love to tell is the story of Miss Rennell, a lady who has got to be a good friend of mine. I didn't know anything about Miss Rennell whatsoever up until about a year and a half ago. But the Belize Mission Society has been serving her in various ways for a number of years with Bible studies and with different projects. Miss Rennell, who who has given me permission to share her story whenever I want to, was living a pretty normal life as a cook for one of the kind of home kitchens, one of the local restaurants there that's been operating for a while. But she started running into all kinds of challenges, many of them kind of beyond her control. A number of years ago, she's been dealing with the struggle of diabetes, and that has led to her needing to have one of her legs amputated. So all of a sudden, you can only imagine someone with limited means, a single woman, a single mother, trying to navigate life and trying to provide for herself and for her kids. All of a sudden, being without one of your limbs when you depend on that limb for your job and for your sustenance. So the Belize Mission Society has recently helped her out with wheelchairs. And we've helped her out with building her a wheelchair ramp to her home. We have provided her with an indoor shower, which she did not have in the past, and have been a tremendous help with also sending nurses and other volunteers from the United States to her home to help her out with some education and with testing strips and things like that for monitoring her diabetes so her problem doesn't get worse. Well, we have also recently helped her to get fitted for a prosthetic. So she is now getting back on her feet again. So all of these wonderful acts of mercy and acts of Christian love have been shown to my friend Miss Rennell through the Belize Mission Society over the years, and it just keeps on building off of that. But about a year and a half ago, the former director of the Belize Mission Society said, I have this lady, Miss Rennell, who I think you should meet. I think she would enjoy meeting you, Pastor Dwayne, because at the time I was one of the on the ground pastors. And so I said, sure, introduce me. She introduced me. We asked if she would be willing to have me into her home to study the Bible with her and study the small catechism with her, and she enthusiastically accepted, and I worked with her every single week for about a year, and now Miss Rennell has become the very first confirmed native Lutheran, native Belizean Lutheran. So that's really exciting. That's really cool. This is the way that this partnership is supposed to work out between the LCMS and mercy organizations like the Belize Mission Society. It's a wonderful success story, and so I love to tell it.
Thanks be to God. And we are just about out of time. How can we stay up on what's going on with Belize Mission Society?
Very easy. Just visit our website, sign up for our newsletters. We're still in the process of getting through this transition phase, but I'll be keeping people up to speed on everything that we're doing. Just visit www.belizemissionsociety.net.
Thank you so much for being our guest on the Coffee Hour today.
Thank you.
I'm Andy Bates.
I'm Sarah Golseth.